Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amrit Anubhav, chapter 5, OV number 40. And we were looking at how the self cannot be conceptualized, and conceptualization happens by way of thoughts, ideas, concepts, convictions, emotions, all these are concepts. And self does not fall into the purview of that. Just like a cat, she begins with playing with the ball of wool and eventually gets entangled in the wool by herself. Nobody tied it around it. It was playing with it and got entangled in it and then starts screaming. Exactly the same situation is ours also. We, instead of playing with ourselves, which is this whole world, this whole universe, somewhere we became identified with it. We took it too seriously and we got entangled. Then now I am only this body, I am only this person, I am only this husband, I am only this wife, I was born on this date, I don't want to die, I don't want to be unhealthy, blah 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 blah. All this is entanglement. We have woven a web of thoughts and then got caught up in it ourselves. Thoughts will come, no problem, there's nothing wrong with that. But then to be feel trapped in those thoughts, in those concepts, in those emotions, in those relationships, in that wealth, in that house, in that car, in that past, in that future, in this body, in these senses, all this is stupidity. So do not conceptualize the truth. All concepts are illumined by the truth, illumined by the self. You are that one, the illuminator. You are not the illumined. Everything that comes and goes is worthy of rejection. And then we begin on a spiritual journey. I want to realize, I want to liberate, I want to know myself. Arey Baba, you will liberate only when you have become caught, only when you are bound. But who are you? Who are you in essence? Who are you, the Atma? You are that which is beyond bondage and liberation. Who is beyond birth and death. You are beyond bondage and liberation. Moksha bandha. So for you, you are that for whom there is no bondage, And if there is no bondage, there is no question of liberation also. But we keep thinking, oh, I want to liberate, I want to self realize, I want to God realize in this life before the last breath. It's a good thought. But आगे भी बढ़ो. We are studying Amrit Anubhav, don't forget. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is taking the absolute point. From absolute point, there wherever you look, like Brahmaji looks everywhere. What does he look? From absolute point, wherever you look, what will you see? You will see the absolute only. There is no variety available. See? So, all these efforts to know, to understand objectively only reduce the being into becoming. So, when we want to know, then the intellects come about. When we want to feel, the mind comes about. When we want to see, the eyes come about. When we want to hear, the ears come about. When we want to smell, the nose comes about. When we want to hold what we have seen, the hands come about. When we want to walk to what we have heard, where is this sound coming out? The legs come about. In the first place, it was all that there is. It was one only. We have created the distance. We have created the objectivity. We have created the name and form. We have created the memories and aspirations. We, by our own thinking, by accepting that we are the mind, and mind has only one job. What is it? To think in concepts, to think in imagination. Imagination is also a concept only. The five senses are also concept. The five organs of action is also concept. The idea that Atma is Satchidananda Swarup, this is also a concept only. As long as you are thinking about it. So what mind can do? Only can think in concepts. You have to get out of the gravity of the mind and recognize that you are the absolute one. उसके लिए चुप रहो. Don't interact, don't unnecessarily, don't talk either with others or with yourself in your mind. Now examples are given to show how to discover this truth. Now examples. These are all limited examples. So get the gist of it. Get the angle of approach. न लाविता ऊस ताई जैसे नी असे रस तेथीचा मिष्टांश तोची जाणे. The sweetness of the sugar cane is known to itself before planting. Pieces of sugar cane are planted and they grow into a full plant and their sweet juice is tasted. Sugar cane, you don't get a seed of sugar cane. Sugar cane is a long stick with knots in between. So as long as there is one knot, you put it into the ground and it grows into a full sugar cane plant. So one sugar cane cut into 5 pieces, you will get 5 sugar canes. Just like right now, 2 months ago, I cut all the roses and all the stems that came out. The stem means the cuttings that came out from them. I planted quite a few of them in pots, in ground. What did I do? I made sure that there were nodes. Wherever there is a thorn, from between the thorn and the stem, the plant will come out, the branch will come out, the leaf will come out. And you plant it. Some of them have come out now, some of them have not. It's okay. Before the sugar cane was planted, where was the rasa? Rasa is the nectar. What is the nectar of the sugar cane? It is the sugar cane juice, the sweet juice. Here in Australia, we used to have in Glen Waverley, we used to have one sugar cane guy in front of the Woolworths. Fresh sugar cane. He used to grow himself and squeeze it and give it with lemon. Beautiful. यू गो टू इंडिया एनी वेयर, वो घुमाते हैं, मशीन चल रही होती है, उसमें डालते हैं निकालते हैं, डालते हैं निकालते हैं, क्या मज़ा आ जाता है, एकदम फ्रेश जूस. बट कहाँ, फ्रॉम वेयर डिड द रस कम फ्रॉम? What is the rus of the sugar cane? The juice and the knower of the tasty juice. Even before it manifested as a plant, the inherent sweetness itself included the experiencer of the sweetness, the object of the experience called the sugar cane, and the experience of the experiencer of the sweetness, the object of the experience called the sugar cane, and the experience of sweetness. तो त्रिपुटी हो गया ना, experiencer, experienced, and experiencing. Only when triputi is there, then the knowledge is there, thought is there. Thought means, relatively we are speaking, relative knowledge is there. So where was the experiencer before? Where was the juice before? Applying the same principle to pure bliss, even before the experience of an object takes place, the blissful non-dual existence is already existing. It is not created. Just as yesterday someone gave me a good news. I have been telling them, come on, it's time now, have a second baby. सबको बिजी कर देना है, खुद मस्त रहो, दूसरों को बिजी कर दो. तो they listened. And yesterday night, late at night, they called. They couldn't stop. They had to share because they came to know. Swamiji, I said, good, very good. Enjoy. Even before the experience of an object takes place, the blissful non-dual existence is already existing. Before the child is born, the child is already in the womb. Huh? Before the universe came about, the space was already there. The space gives accommodation to air, fire, water, earth, plants, animals, beings. The entire universe is existing within the space. When the sun is shining brightly, does the space get hot? No. When the water is freezing, does the space get frozen? No. When the wind is blowing, does the space get blown? No. Space remains untouched, even though supporting everything. Now apply similarly, you come to yourself. Who are you? Who are giving accommodation to space also? You are pervading through the space also. So whatever is happening in space, space is not affected. Then how come you are affected? How come you are taking the whole world to be real when space is not taking it to be real? Even before the experience of an object takes place, the blissful non-dual existence is already existing. It is not created. Our wrong conclusion that when I drink I will be my thirst will be satiated. I feel the joy. That joy did not come from the water. That joy did not come from the object called water. That joy did not come from the drinking of water or the experience of water. And that joy did not come from the one who experienced the water, the experiencer also. Then where did but the experiencer did drink the water and then came to the conclusion, that was so satisfying. So where did that satisfaction come from? Where did that ananda come from? Remember, we are in the ananda explanation. That ananda, that bliss is your inherent nature. That bliss alone is expressing as the experiencer experienced and experiencing. Because we have forgotten we are that absolute one, because we have forgotten we are the absolute one and taken the position of the experiencer, because and our nature is that of bliss. Whether you are the absolute one or you are the experiencer, the nature is the same, Satchidanand. But now what do? You seek, instead of accepting that you are of the nature of bliss, which will make you to be, which will lead you to the absolute disposition, you are seeking bliss from objects of the world. So stop this. This can only go away by understanding. It will not go by pranayam, it will not go by kundalini, it will not go by kriya yoga. It will only go by understanding. A person can be divorced, but if that person is still thinking of the partner, they will continue to live a miserable life. Why this happened to me? Why that happened to me? But once you are divorced and you say, story over, I'm free, I have always been free. Unnecessarily I got entangled. Yahoo! Then thereafter, you are not entangled. You come back to being the original. Who? The woman. Where did the wife go? Vanished into thin air. Where did the husband go? Vanished into thin air. No importance, no value to the other, to the object, because of whom you were defining yourself. So when I was drinking water, I was seeking bliss. That is my nature. And somehow or the other I will keep. Now I am getting satisfaction by speaking. You are getting satisfaction or bliss by listening, by drinking. We are seeking it everywhere. We are not recognizing that we are of the nature, that nature. And this entire gamut of experiences, drinking, seeing, hearing, teaching, feeling, waking, dreaming, sleeping, thinking, experiencer, experienced, experiencing, all these are expressions of that bliss alone. All these are expressions of that bliss alone. Accept. Don't delay. Therefore, ananda or bliss is where there is total absence of relative expression, called the enjoyer, enjoyed, enjoyment. Where the triputi is absent, there the absolute bliss is. It doesn't express. Absolute bliss does not express. Absolute bliss is, it is infinite. It is your nature. Only when Triputi comes about, the experiencer experiencing, then it feels as if it is expressing. But only that can express which was already, no. The juice of the sugar cane can come only if the sugar juice is already existing in the sugar cane. It cannot come from outside and be introduced into the sugar cane. So the bliss that we are experiencing when we drink the sugarcane juice, it's already experiencing. Then how come we are not experiencing it before? Because of your obsession with, I want it. I want, when I get that, then I will be happy. When I achieve that, then I will be happy. We are postponing. We are not alive. We are not recognized our true nature. We have not accepted ourselves to be of the nature of bliss. Some people even feel guilty to be happy. बोलते हैं ना, ज़्यादा बत्तीसी मत दिखा. Don't be too happy. If you are too happy, then there will be sadness following. Who asked you? Why you have to say that way? Because our attention is on the relative. In relative, yes, sukha dukha follow each other. But are you sukhi or dukhi, or are you ananda swarup, or are you sukha dukha swarup? That we have to determine. This determination cannot come about by doing pranayam. This determination, this conviction, this understanding comes only through satsang and application of what we have heard on ourselves. Accept, while listening, accept. Then you don't have to repeat it. That we are of the nature of bliss. We don't have to seek bliss from something or someone or. And yet life will continue. You will continue with your husband, wife, children, everything. You will continue drinking water. You will continue eating food. You will continue, oh, how tasty the banana is, how this. But inside you know very clearly, I am the soul. I am all that there is. And then play the drama fully. So where there is total absence of relative expression, and what is the relative expression? The enjoyer, the experiencer, enjoyed the experienced and enjoying the experiencing. The Triputi is absent, and that is who you are. Now if you observe your life, your whole life you have been only experienced life in through the Triputi. Waker, waking world and waking experience. Triputi. Dreamer, dream world, dream experience. Triputi. You have this, and you are only through these three you have been experiencing. Has anyone ever told us that, hey, you are not these three? And when I was a kid, this thought did come to me, but there was no teacher around for me. I must have asked my parents, but they did not know the answer. What was that? Because in that young, uncorrupted mind, somehow, by God's grace, that I take the waking experience to be real and continuous on a daily basis. So when I ask this question, why don't we take the dream experience to be continuous? Why don't we go back to the same family, the same? brother, sister, the same house, the same body every day in the dream? There was no answer. Got one slap. Don't think on foolish questions. Focus. 2 on the 2, 2 to the 4, 2, 3 to the 6. And I believe that everyone sometime or the other must have had this thought in their mind. But very quickly you brushed it away because you don't know how to approach it. And what to do with that thought, because it's not taking you anywhere. And then you feel afraid that, am I going cuckoo if I think like this? This is not normal. Nobody else is thinking like this. Only I am thinking like this. And you deride yourself. But if you had thought, oh my God, you would have been free there and then. Another example follows. Kana sajjita veena tonad zo abolana taya tene chizana ho ave lage. The silence, the abode of sound alone knows the music that is to come before setting the musical instrument veena. All sounds come from where? All waves come from where? From the waters. All sounds come from where? From silence. So silence alone expresses as the Saptaswara. Labor Day holiday. We are retired. So silence is the substratum, silence is the basis. The silence is the material out of which all the sounds have come about. Just as space is the abode of the other four elements, air, fire, water, earth. Space alone is expressing as the other four. The space is the foundation of the other four. The space is accommodating the other four. The other four do not have an independent existence apart from space. The space is pervading the other four. Just as the gold is pervading the ornament. Ornament has got no independent existence. Whether the ornament expresses or doesn't express, gold continues to be. Exactly the same way. Whether the sound is there or not there, the basis is the silence. This is from cause-effect point of view we are saying. Silence is the cause, sound is the effect. And all the sounds, all the variety of sounds are inherent within the silence. Just like the waking and dream experience are latent in deep sleep. Deep sleep is silence. From that silent mind in deep sleep, silence in deep sleep, the waking comes out and expresses itself. The dream comes out and expresses itself. The gross and the subtle come out. So who are we? We are at the gross level, subtle level and causal level. Gross level waking, subtle level dream, causal level sleep. Sleep, causal is the causal itself says it is the cause. So sound is the silence is the cause, sound is the effect, sound is the expression. So here he says The abode of sound alone knows the music that is to come before setting the musical instrument. See, when we become empty, when we become completely empty, no issues, no imagination, no conceptualization, and when we are listening to the silence, then that silence, this is what happened to Brahmaji also. When he was asked, when he went to look for his source, the answer came, do tapas. And he came and he was given the instruction. And how to do tapas? Listen to the silence in your head. Listen to the silence between the two ears. So he closed his eyes. He listened to the silence. As he was listening to silence, there was no distraction because creation was not there at that moment. He has to do the job and he didn't know what his job is. So he was listening to the silence. That silence then expressed as Om. That Om then expressed as vowels and consonants. See? Same way. Just as in deep sleep we are in silence, when we wake up, all the words start emanating, thoughts erupt in our mind. Same way, in a veena, all the sounds are inherent within that silence. The silence knows all the sounds, whether they express or they don't express. Silence knows. They are part and parcel of silence. And that's what is told here. That is to come before setting the musical instrument. The musical sound that comes out of the instrument, veena, where was it before? It was existing in silence. The silence is the abode of the one who is listening to the music. So now you have taken the person, the listener of the music, the one who is listening to the music, the musical sound itself, the sound which is emanating from the strings of the veena, and the experience of the music. And where is the experience taking place? Is it taking place outside? Is the experience for the veena? Is the experience for the veena? No. Is the experience of music for the strings of the veena? No. Then for whom? For the experiencer. And therefore, all the three aspects were contained in the absolute silence before the veena was played upon. That absolute silence itself expressed as the experiencer of the sound, the experienced sound, and the experiencing of the sound. See? So before it was what? The experiencer, experiencing was with respect to the nectar of sugarcane. So the bliss was inherent. That bliss alone expressed as the as the taster tasted and tasting of the juice of sugarcane. Now here that same absolute one, the same absolute bliss is expressing as the listener listened and listening. So experiencer of the sound, experienced the sound, and the experiencing of the sound. But what is our disposition? I am separate to veena. I am hearing Swamiji speaking. Can you, Swamiji, please repeat it? I did not understand. Are you only manifested the whole thing? The self alone manifested the speaker, the speaking, and the heard, because the whole universe is in our mind. Oh, but how is that possible? You are also having one universe in your mind. We are also having one universe in our mind. And if there are how many 11 people listening, all 11 people having one universe in their mind, there will be many universes. This was the dilemma which Brahmaji experienced. When he did the Gopala Leela, he took all the friends of Krishna and all the cows and hid them in the cave. For 1 year he hid them. And immediately when Krishna opened his eyes, he saw, hey, every vanished, where are they gone? Closed his eyes, saw, Brahmaji's mischief. Immediately he manifested out of himself exactly exact copy of all the cows and the gopas. And after hiding them, Brahmaji came back. He said, अरे अभी तो मैंने भगाया छुपाया था, ये कहाँ से आ गए? Again he went back to the cave. He saw everyone is there. He came here. They are all there. See? And he couldn't work it out. Okay, he was tired, because how many times he'll keep going to the cave and coming here and going to the cave, coming here, because he didn't accept Krishna as the Narayana. So he went back to his abode, Brahmalok. When he went there, to the surprise of him, there was already one Brahmaji sitting there. And the Dwarpal, the gatekeeper of the Brahmalok, Satyalok, he said, who are you? He said, I am Brahmaji. He said, many people come and say that we are Brahmaji. Get out from here. We already have one Brahmaji. We don't need another one. He says, no, I am telling you the truth. I am Brahmaji. I only went away. He says, yeah. Every Tom, Dick and Harry tells the same thing. I am the boss of the house. I am telling you, I am the boss of the house. I am telling you, I am the parent of my children. I am telling you, why don't you understand? This is my body. Same language. This is my Brahmalok. Why don't you understand? Just now I went to earth and came back. Just now I went to work and came back. It is my house. It is my wife. It is my children. It is my thirst. It is my hunger. It is my experience of the sound, this, that, etc. It is my waking. It is my dream. It is my sleep. My Brahmalok. But Brahmaji was already sitting there. Now Brahmaji got confused. What to do now? And when he came back, as he was coming back towards the earth, came close to the forest where Krishna was, he started having a transcendental experience. He saw the young Krishna in every tree, then he saw Krishna in every bush, then he saw Krishna in every leaf, and as his attention became finer and finer, he saw Krishna in every atom. And as he was thinking like this, suddenly his mind was sucked into that, and he saw that in every atom there is a complete Brahmanda, means there is a complete universe in every atom. So how many universes are there? Many universes, infinite number. And that story was given to explain this. That as long as you think as an individual, this will be the problem. So you have to come out of it. find solution, you have to focus on yourself, not outside. So that one alone has become the experiencer, experienced and experiencing. So that infinite bliss, the absolute bliss alone is expressing as the one who is listening to the music, the sound of the music itself, the experienced, and the experience of the music, that is the experiencing. So, so every day, this morning when you got up, or let's take it at this very moment, what is expressing right now? The speaker, the spoken to, and the speaking. What else is expressing? The hearer on your end, the hearer, the heard, and the hearing. Isn't it? Triputi. Or the seer, seen, seeing, that also is going on. Do you see these three, as an expression of the bliss that you are? Or you have left the bliss and you are thinking, oh, what a wonderful thought, what a wonderful contemplation, I really enjoyed that. Then we have lost the plot. You are allowed to say those statements, no problem. But don't forget, you are the source. Because when we are communicating, we have to say something. Or not say something. But when we are not saying, oh, I think I'm stupid. Majority people think like that. If they are not able to say or express, I think I'm stupid. I'm having dementia. No. Silence is good. Non-expression is very good if taken in the right manner. And when you are expressing, oh my God, this thought, that thought, this thought, oh, too many thoughts in my mind. No, they are all your expressions alone. For that, awareness is required, my friends. Awareness. Extreme awareness. That the Triputi, the subject, object, and the instrument of knowledge, the Triputi is coming and going, experiences are coming and going, the three are coming and going, and that's what is showing. And all these three are expressions of the bliss that I essentially am. Don't seek bliss from the Triputi. When I listen to satsang, then I am calm. When I listen to satsang, then I feel happy. Then I get a dose for next 3 days. Don't go in that direction of thinking. You are the source of the Amrit. This is Amrit Anubhav, isn't it? Nectar of immortality. You are made up of that nectar of immortality. The sugar cane is made up of the juice already. Even if the veena is not being emanating any sound, but in the silence all the beautiful music is inherent. Same way, whether the Triputi is expressing or not expressing, you are inherent bliss. In the same way, the blissful self, which was always existing, expressed as the waking state of consciousness, produced the musical experience of the waker, the waking world, and the contact between the two. The waking state ended, but I continued to be. Then the same routine was repeated with the dream state set in, where the music was set forth for a short while and then came to an end. How beautiful. So what is the music? The music is coming out of the 3 strings. What are the 3 strings? The waker, the waking world, and the waking experience. Tring. Over. After that, again tring. Whether you take it like this, waker, waking experience, waking world, or you can take waker, dreamer, sleeper, there are also three strings. Tring. And if you want to take it more subjectively, seer, seen, seeing, hearer, heard, hearing, tring, tring. Music निकलता रहता है continuously. Because the nature of bliss is to express or not to express. That is its nature. So now play the music of life. And you can only play the music when you are separate from the instrument. So when you see that you are the source and the strings to be played, the music to be expressing is from the three strings, the waker, waking world and the waking experience. So enjoy. कभी हंसो कभी रो. What is that? कभी हंसो कभी रुलाया करो. टररम पम पम पररम पम पम. हंसो और हंसाया करो. तो खेलते रहो. पर फिर हम फंस जाते हैं क्योंकि हम अपनी पोजीशन भूल जाते हैं. वी फॉरगेट आवर पोजीशन. That we are the absolute one, not the relative one. In this way, the meaning of bliss is that substratum which has the potentiality to be many, but has never become money. The potential in the gold is to be many ornaments, but even when ornaments are expressing, the gold has remained as gold only, one gold. So where is the ornament? Ornament is only an imagination on the gold. Understand? The water has remained always the water. The potentiality in the water to express as many waves is always there. Sometimes it is manifest, sometimes it is unmanifest. But because of manifestation or unmanifestation of the waves, water continues to be water. It ever remains the same. Then where is the water? Where is the wave? It is only an imagination on the water. Why are we imagining? Because we have accepted we are an individual. So we see an individual wave also. We have accepted we are a conditioned being with a form. Everywhere we look, we see only forms. In deep sleep, we do not accept that we are the form. So there is no form to be perceived. Do you get anything? Can you see anything in deep sleep? Nothing. Why? Because you are not identified with the body. That's why. Is it possible to do it in the waking? Yes. For that you have to think of something higher. So the example in the meditation also I said, space supports everything and everything that supports is born from space only, but space is not affected by what it supports or expresses as. Gold supports all the ornaments, but gold is not affected by the ornaments. Water supports all the waves, but water is not affected, influenced, trapped by all the waves. The self supports all expressions, subject, object, instrument of knowledge, but the absolute self is not affected, influenced, trapped by the Triputi. So be that one rather than the one with reference to the object, Don't be the subject with the reference to the object. Be the absolute subject. And watch the I thought coming up. With the I thought, the thought of the object also comes and the experience also takes place. Where is this all happening? It's happening in the mind. Watch it. You have never been in the mind. You know. Everyone knows it. For that you have to take a chill pill. Sit down with yourself. Contemplate in this manner. Think coolly. कि हाँ यार क्या है ये? I can understand when I hear, but why is it not why is it not my natural state all the time? Where am I going wrong? Then you will find that you are still giving reality to the world. You have still accepted that you are the body. You have still accepted that you are the experiencer of this world. You have not accepted yourself as the absolute one. In the satsang, for temporary moment, you are available. But even while listening, every now and then we get a flash of, beautiful. Just like when we go to a temple, we leave the chappals outside. Inside the temple, our attention, we are looking at the God, but the attention is on the chappal. Same way, we are in the satsang, but our attention is on the body. We are in the satsang, our attention is on, I must keep sipping water, I don't want to dehydrate. We are sitting in a satsang or sitting in meditation, but our attention is on what we are going to do after meditation. This is our stupidity. Catch. I'm not telling you something from outside. It's your experience. We have all gone through that, isn't it? Gone to the temple and thinking about chappal outside. कल ही खरीदी है यार, कोई फिर ले जाएगा. इसलिए मैंने सस्ती खरीदी. ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय. रबर की चप्पल है, हवाई चप्पल है. ले भी जाएंगे तो मैं किसी और की ले जाऊंगा आज. हफ्ते में 2 बार खरीदनी पड़ी मेरे को. ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय. क्या पैथेटिक. अब ये पता नहीं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में तो नहीं होता, फिजी में भी नहीं होता होगा, भाई इंडिया में जरूर होता है. More examples follow. नाना पुष्पाचिया उदरा न येता पुष्पसारा आपणची भवरा हो आवे पड़े. Before the arrival of the bees, the flower itself knows the flavor and taste of its sweet pollen. Taking another example, the womb of the flower contains the pollen, the abode of fragrance, sweetness, etc. If the bees do not visit the flower, what happens to the fragrance and the sweetness? To that pollen, fragrance and sweetness are all in itself as one. The taste of or fragrance, the taste of fragrance, the object of the taste, and the fragrance and the enjoyer of the taste of fragrance or fragrance are all contained in the same place. In the pollen, the triputi of the taster tasted and the tasting is already there. Same example as the sugarcane juice, the veena, now the flower. Now the flower. Thus, the absolute bliss is that wherein there is no differentiation of the experiencer, object of experience. The triputi is absent. Well, I should say triputi is present or absent. It does not affect because he is independent. If we think technically, as a seeker, then when the triputi subsides, there you are. But whether it subsides, higher thinking, whether it subsides or doesn't subside, you always are. That is the Sahaj Bhav. That is the natural state. Mahatmas live in that, live in spite of they are talking, they say, oh, what a beautiful day, I am hungry now. Triputi is expressing. But that does not corrupt their absoluteness. Further examples, na 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 radhita rasa soye te godi kaisi pa ahe he pahane te no he anika zoge. Before the preparation of food, the taste and its knowledge is contained in the food itself. Before the food is prepared and eaten, where is the taste? It is inherent in the food. It was unmanifest in the food, and it can manifest only if there is someone to taste it. There is no differentiation of taster and tasted in the unmanifest taste called food. In the objective way of knowing, the experience is an object other than the self, than oneself. To have experience of satsang, two ways are there. The lower way, the apara. The lower way is look for a person, look for a teacher, look for an object from where the satsang is being expressed. It can be from a person, here it is Zoom, it can be a YouTube, it can be a book, and you hear the wise words, you listen to the wise words, you read the wise words of the scriptures. So nice. Wonderful satsang. The other way, you listen to yourself. You listen to yourself, like Brahmaji was. You be with yourself. Now what is happening? You are not shortchanging yourself. You are not seeking the knowledge from someone or something or somewhere. Then now where is that somewhere, someone, somewhere? So subject is looking for the bliss from the subject, not from some object. So he has placed the subject in place of object. So subject is looking for subject as an object. Subject is looking for subject as an object. The eyes are looking for eyes through the eyes. The mind is subject object. The subject is looking for subject through the object as an object of experience. See. And when it starts, then you will be aware. Then if the whole matrix just collapses. The matrix of the Triputis, it collapses the moment you come think in that manner. There is no differentiation of taster and tasted in the unmanifest taste called food. In the objective way of knowing, the experience of an object other than the oneself. This bliss, this unconditional, effortless existence is not something to understand and achieve, but just being. Being itself is knowing. This we saw before. Existence itself is consciousness. Consciousness itself is existence. Existence is being. You are aware of your being. You have never been absent. Then what has been absent? Sometimes the waker is absent, sometimes the dreamer is absent, sometimes the sleeper is absent. Sometimes the wake and when the waker is absent, along with it the waking world and the waking experience is also absent. When the dreamer is absent, the dreamer along with dream world and the dream experience, all the three are absent. But have you experienced that you are absent? Whenever you say that this is absent, it is about some experience, it is about something, some objectivity which was present, now it is not present. But have you any experience from childhood to till today that you are absent? The thoughts come and go, you are always there. Emotions come and go, you are always there. Breath comes and goes, you are always there. Whether you are seeing or not seeing, hearing or not hearing, smelling or not smelling, touching or not touching, you are always there. So we have never experienced our own absence. We have experienced the absence of Triputi, the triad, but we have never experienced the absence of ourselves. And therefore, we are the continuous existence. And when this clicks, it's a click. We can go about round and round and round talking about this from many different angles. That's what the scriptures are doing. But in the end, you have to, as a seeker, you have to realize that what is being talked about is me, the essence, that's what I am, the infinite one. Then talking will stop, or it may continue, it does not matter to you. When I become conscious, or when I am conscious of my continuous existence, that I have never come and gone, in spite of all the wakers coming and going, dreamers coming and going, experiencers coming and going, that I am the continuous one. When I become conscious of my continuous existence, realization. That is called consciousness. When I become conscious, when I am conscious, conscious means when I know that I am the continuous one. Whether this thought is appearing or not appearing, I still am. Then knowing and being is one. And this may happen in meditation. This click may happen in meditation. This click may happen when you are listening. This click may happen when you are in sleep. It can happen anywhere. And once the click has happened, the waking, dream, sleep, your life will continue as long as the body is. But now you have unclicked yourself from the matrix. You have unclicked yourself from the Triputi. Triputi continues. But because it has clicked that you are the conscious being, you are the continuous being, and you know it. And the resultant of this conscious knowledge of your continuous existence without a thought expresses as bliss. That bliss then expresses as the mind. Mind is the Triputi. Then that bliss is the material out of which the Triputi is made. It has always been like that. Now you recognize. This particular thread of thought is concluded तैसे सुखपणा ये वो लाजे आपुले सुख पावो ते आणिका चाखो सुवो ये लकाई. Similarly, before the relative perceptions, the absolute bliss is self-existent. How can it become an experience of bliss? That's exactly what I was saying just now. Before the relative perceptions, what is the relative perception? Waker, dreamer, sleeper is the relative. Relative is that which comes and goes. How can that which is coming and going, how can it give you infinite bliss? When by nature, waker is a finite experience. Dream is a finite experience. Sleep is a finite experience. How can finite experience, meaning waker, waking world and waking experience, this is a finite. Yes, it is about 10, 12, 15 hours. As long as you are awake, it is that long. But after that, it has to go away. How can that which is finite, that which is limited, that which is coming and going, how can it give you infinite bliss? Impossible. Oh, but aren't we searching for aren't we reading this text in the waking? So what is the point of reading the scriptures? They are also finite. This experience is finite. This experiencer is finite. The experience text is finite. This experience is finite. What's the point then? That's what we are asking. What's the point? Then it's a waste of time. No, it's not a waste of time. Now, what is the way out of this? The way out of it is you recognize that this whole expression of the waking experience and waking world is the expression of the bliss that you are. Then, हो गया काम तमाम. Rather than seek bliss through the experienced, we have to flip it over. That this triad, we are using the triad. I am the experiencer. And why do I experience? Because I want joy from whatever I am experiencing. And because now we have studied this, it is saying these three are limited. So even if you are experiencing the limited joy, first it was told it is your inherent nature. So now second understanding is everything, this triad is limited. By nature only it is limited because it is coming and going. Don't pursue it. Don't fall into its trap. But it is a phenomena. It will come anyway. Then what do I do? Then you take the position that, where can you take this position? You cannot take this position in the sleep. It will not work because you cannot contemplate in sleep. Can you take this position in the dream? No, because the thoughts are too fast and fleeting. So you cannot take it in the dream also. Only in the waking. Here also there is Triputi going on. But while Triputi is going on, it is neither mind is absent, niruddha like in sleep, nor it is too fast as in dream. It is reasonably handleable. So only in the waking you can do the contemplation that these Triputis, these triads are coming and going. and I am not these triads. These are the expressions of the bliss that I am. I should not take the position wherein I am seeking joy, bliss, happiness from some object of experience. No. Instead, I must take the position that I alone am this bliss that I am alone is expressing as the experiencer, as the experienced object, and the experiencing. All these three are expressions of the bliss that I am. This is Ishwar Advaivad. Either so here we are doing both. One moment we are cutting everything and coming to the absolute, but in this chapter we are taking the position of the absolute and seeing that everything else is an expression of the absolute alone. Frankly speaking, truthfully speaking, from the absolute point there is no expression only. We talk about expression only in the relative. In the absolute, from the absolute, there is only absolute. There is nothing else apart from it. In the same way, how can this bliss, which is the abode of total happiness, be understood, experienced, and explained as objective understanding, experience, and knowledge? The bliss will become shy and silent. So when I am speaking, I am going round and round, telling the same thing in different words. But afterwards, it has to be a direct experience. You have to abide, you have to accept that I am that. Words cannot, words, they are helpful in to some extent. The car is helpful to take you to a destination. But once you come to the destination, you have to get out of the car. So this body is helpful to take you to the destination. The mind, by way of thoughts, the Triputi, is the vehicle by which you can come to the destination. But now get out of the vehicle of the Triputi. And abide. You don't take the vehicle inside you in the party. You leave the vehicle outside. Drop the Triputi. Means don't give it value and importance. The bliss that we essentially are can never be comprehended in the language of Sukha Dukkha, Satchidananda, etc. All these words have no meaning in one's own essential bliss. This bliss is ever present even in miserable experience. The bliss is never denied. Bliss is your natural state. It is inherent. It is your essence. So where is Sukha Dukkha? Is it in the self? No, it is in the mind. Mind is expressing as the Triputi, the triad. Joy and sorrow is in the mind. How does joy and sorrow come about? The I, the Triputi, the subject, object, and the experience, the instrument of knowledge. The subject has accepted the body called object as I. I am the body. I am the desire. I am the mind. I am not the laptop. I am not the other people. So it seeks other objects to get happy. If the object gives happiness, I like this object. If it doesn't, he doesn't get happiness. Who? The subject. If he doesn't get the happiness, I don't dislike this object. If I like the object, then I am happy. If I don't like the object, I am unhappy. Sukha, dukkha. So what is our mind through this Triputi? It's only creating likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes precipitate as sukha, dukkha, joys and sorrows. Joys and sorrows are always changing, fleeting. Likes and dislikes, what you liked as a child, today you love it. What you hated as a child, today you love it. So things are changing. Yesterday's enemy may be your friend today. Look at the politicians. Till yesterday, Gladys was the best premier in the Australia. Today, nobody wants to associate with her. Why? Fallen from grace or accused of it. Let's see what happens. One moment everyone was friend. Next moment nobody wants to know you because they may be incriminated. This is the way of life. This is the way of Triputi. This is the way of the triad. Within the triad of waker, waking world and waking experience, in that 12, 14, 15 hours of the day, how many times you keep changing your associations? Now you are totally available as, I hope, as the listener listen to and the listening is going on. The moment 10 o'clock comes about, immediately you will change. Maybe you are a eater and eaten and eating food, breakfast, or fighter fighted with and fighting with husband or wife. I don't know. Something will happen. So how many Triputis? So in one big Triputi called Waker, Waking and Waking Experience, Waking World and Waking Experience, so many sub-triads throughout the day. In the dream also, the dreamer, dream world and dream experience, one triad, and there are so many tentacles or expressions of that triad as that dream experience. Catch this. Catch this. Concluded. Similarly, before the relative perceptions, the absolute bliss is self-existent. How can it become an experience of bliss? It can never become an experience because the bliss is not an object of experience. It is our essential nature. Just as the eyes cannot see themselves, similarly, we can never experience the bliss as an object of knowledge. It is our essential nature. In the same way, how can this bliss, which is the abode of total happiness, be understood, experienced, and explained as objective understanding, experience, and knowledge? The bliss will become shy and silent, unexpressed. The moment you look for the source of bliss, it becomes silent. Objectivity will drop. Triputi will drop away. The bliss that we essentially are can never be comprehended in the language of Sukha, Dukkha, Satchidananda, etc. All these words have no meaning in one's own essential bliss. The bliss is ever present, even in miserable experience. The bliss is never denied. You cannot objectify the bliss. So then what happens when I am drinking water and I am happy? You are imagining that the water is giving you bliss. But water can never give you bliss. You are. This is said in the next OV. दिहाचिया दिहाचिया दुपारी चांदू जैसा अंबरी ते असणे चांदा चिवरी जाणावे की. The ever existent moon may not be perceptible during the noon hours of the day, however, its presence is known to the moon itself. See? During the daytime, the moon is invisible to us. But does it mean that moon is absent? It's absent to our perception. But the moon knows that it is there. So when we are so lost in objectivity, when we are so lost in body identification, and as a result so lost in the triad, as a result so lost in thinking, conceptualizing, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, as a result we are so lost in this world, does it mean the essence is absent just because you are not aware of it? No, it knows itself. So we are lost in the world, but the moment we come to satsang, we say, hey, do you know that every day waker, dreamer, sleeper come and go? Yes. So suddenly you become available to yourself. See? So that self was never absent. Yes, it was not perceivable. It was not available to you because of your distraction. So that example is taken. During the day at high noon, the moon cannot be seen, but that does not mean the moon is not existing. It is ever present, and the moon herself knows her own presence even at that time. In the same way, the presence of objects of enjoyment gives us Vishayananda, is in essence Atmananda, the bliss, inherent bliss alone. So instead of appropriating the joy on the objects of the world, instead of appropriating that the satsang was wonderful, Swamiji, it was fantastic. No, it was not the person who was speaking was fantastic. It was not that the words that were coming to you are fantastic, but those words coming from whatever source were bringing you back to yourself, and that recognition is the bliss that you are experiencing, that you are. Now, because you have to express immediately, the moment expression comes, Triputi, you say, Swamiji, you are fantastic, or the satsang was fantastic. You give it and take it as an objective. Remain silent. It is all your vibhuti, the Atma vibhuti. The self alone is expressing as the Triputi. Remember, vision alone, today's meditation, vision alone is expressing as the colors and forms. The mind alone, one mind, expressing as the senses. One mind alone is expressing as all the thoughts. Who knows? The self. The self alone is expressing as the mind, just as water alone is expressing as all the waves. Gold alone is expressing as all the ornaments. The self alone is the substratum of everything, and that I am. Now this cannot be worked out. We can say it in like this. See Jnaneshwar Maharaj, how many examples he is taking in order to hone us in to ourselves. That is his compassion, but that's all we can do. Remain with it, remain with it, remain not with the objectivity, but with the help of objectivity, bring about the cessation of objectivity. Our attention must come to the self. There are three types of ananda, of which this comes from the Panchadashi. There are three types of ananda, of which Vishayananda is one. Refer Panchadashi chapter 9, where the enjoyer comes in contact with the object of enjoyment through the senses and imagines that it is the object that is giving him joy. In reality, the possession of the object quietens the agitations in our mind. What are the agitations in our mind? The desire to get that object, the desire to drink the water, the desire to listen to satsang, the desire to eat breakfast. As long as this desire is there to do something, there will be agitation. When I drink the water, the desire to drink water goes away. The moment desire goes away, the bliss that is my essential nature, it expresses. In reality, the possession of the object quietens the agitations in our mind. And the essential blissful nature that we are manifests itself to oneself. What is understood as Vishayananda by the ignorant man is recognized as Brahmananda by the wise man. What is recognized as Vishayananda by the ignorant man, because he is considering the bliss is in the objects outside, is recognized as Brahmananda by the wise man. He recognizes that the bliss is not in the object, bliss is my nature. See? Therefore, the ignorant man is attached to the objects of enjoyment, whereas the wise man is not. Wise man is not attached to the objects of experience. He is living through the objects of experience. He is seeing the objects of experience as the expression of the bliss alone. And therefore, but where is the bliss? That is my nature. That I am. Therefore, he doesn't pursue the objects for bliss. The moon may not be perceived by others during the day, but the moon is not concerned. It stays in its own glorious existence. Such Mahatmas, they don't care what the world says. They don't care whether there is food or not, no food. They don't care whether it gives them respect or no respect. They are intoxicated in themselves. They know who they are. They don't need any validation from anyone. They don't need any proof. They don't need to be told. Such a person, whether he is in meditation or he is in the world, from relative standpoint, what we see, whether he is in the world or he is in meditation, he is ever with himself. Meditation is not for the self. Meditation is for the mind. Involvement in the world is also for the mind. But the master is not affected by both. We'll stop here. We'll look at it next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ